Hey guys, my guests tonight, Dr. Nicole and Michael Sebastian, are going to be discussing how dreams can be applied to our normal lives. See you in about 5 minutes. Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust. Turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Hey, good morning, everybody. How's everybody feeling today? I'm so glad you're all here. Actually, it's good evening. I'm sorry. I'm off. Anyway, my name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team based out of Sacramento, California. We are 45 strong up and down the state, which means if you have a paranormal need, we can help you out. It might take us a couple days to get to you because California is a big state, but we will get you. It's never more than 1 or 2 days. So, but the way we rectify that also is we do have psychics on staff who can do remote reads. So in that case, they'll get on the phone with you and talk to you about what may or may not be going on, and in some cases they can settle stuff down for you as well. Okay, that being said, if you are watching today from Facebook, and a lot of you are, please be sure to hit that follow button if you haven't done so already. YouTube, if you're watching from YouTube, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're trying to reach that 1,000 goal and get rolling on this, man. We're really close now. I can taste it. It's so exciting, right? Really, totally exciting. So, if you're watching from TikTok, same thing. Hit double tap that screen for those likes. Also, the other thing is comment during the show as you're watching the show. Be sure to comment. Be sure to leave me happy faces. Show me some love, because what that does is it puts us up higher in the algorithm and puts us out to more people. All right. One more thing is if you like what you see today, like I said, follow and all that good stuff. But if you like what you see today and hear, please be sure to share us. Share us with your neighbors. Share us with your roommate or whoever's in the house with you. We're just trying to get the word out about this show. And like I like to say at the end, if you like the show, share it with 5 people. If you hate the show, share it with 5 of your enemies, because we're equal opportunity. All right. My guests today, I'm really excited to have them on. Reverend Dr. Nicole and Michael Sebastian. And it's all about dreams. It's all about how to take your dreams and write them down in the morning and use them, interpret them, and use them in your normal life. Because sometimes a dream can kind of direct you. This is something I'm learning too. So I'm going to have them on right now. They are waiting and in the green room, and away we go.
Hey, Charlotte, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, Charlotte. Thanks for having us on.
It's good to have you. I really appreciate this.
Oh, yeah. It's our pleasure. Absolutely.
So,
hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's nice. It's not too hot. It's going to start heating up again, but it shouldn't be too badly hot. But it is still hot. But it's been nice the last couple weeks, and I think this is how the weather goes through like a last gasp, and I think this is the last gasp for the hot weather. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. Us too. Hey, did you happen to remember any dreams this morning?
I did not, and I was thinking about that when I woke up. I'm having some really odd dreams that of course, I'm not that don't make a lot of sense, and so, but I think it's because I'm stressed out over stuff. So, because I know how even emotions can affect you with dreams, right?
Known as the Dream Team.
Right.
Mainly because we teach dreams, how to utilize and how to use your dream signs and intuition for knowing this, how to know something. You want to know, what your new career is going to be, or whether you should move to a new state, or California, or New York, or what the new relationship is about. Everybody wants to know something, which stock to buy in the market. We teach them how to monitor and utilize their dream signs and intuition to get the answers they're seeking. And dreams is really special for me, because I had a dream years ago when I was teaching in Texas at a college. I had a dream of a girl, and her name was Nicole, with blonde hair and brown eyes, and she was studying to be a personal trainer at the time. And I jotted the whole dream down because it was a lucid dream. It was very, very clear.
Mm-hmm.
And flash forward 3 years, and in 3 years I was teaching another semester at sociology, just beginning the semester, and who walked in but Nicole, the dream girl, from the dream. Blonde hair, brown eyes, her name's Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not remember a single thing. It didn't flash for me because it had been 3 years since I had that dream, and probably a 500,000 dreams since then. So what happened for me was, as the semester went on, I started having flashes of, they call them déjà vu, which means in French, already having seen, like, man, I've been here before. This feels really familiar. Why does it feel so familiar to me? And it had to do with that dream that I had that was prophetic from 3 years prior, showing me that I would meet Nicole and that would change my life. It would turn 180 degrees and I'd go down a different road. And we ended up getting married. And that's when I knew the dreams were important, the dreams were prophetic, and I needed to really, really pay attention to all my dreams because they were showing me where my life was going to go.
You know, that interests me in that I never really thought of dreams as being, prophetic like that. I always thought dreams were just like a thing with, with your subconscious to help you relax and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Now they're not only prophetic, they really come from another dimension. They come down through another dimension, and they come through the astral plane all the way down to the physical plane. And what happens is the message is in many cases, answers to what we're looking for, or the message is showing me that this is where I'm going to be going, or where I'm going to next be living, and who with. Very prophetic. Yeah, dreams are the key. People overlook them. But if you do, you really do your homework, and you go back and start studying dreams, every major society on this planet, and the Greeks and the Romans and everyone studied dreams, and they took them very seriously. Only partially because of the church, the Catholic Church, put a damper on them and gave them a negative spin. Because if you have your dreams, what do you need the church for? What do you need direction for?
Right.
If you have an inner spiritual guide, why do you need a priest telling you what to do? It's a rhetorical question. You don't need them at all. So the church put a negative spin on dreams, and they went south for, 15, 1600 years until Freud and Jung and Adler and Erickson, they all came along and started studying dreams again, and brought them back into prominence. Today, they're finally gaining a foothold again in terms of being a tool that shows us where we're headed.
Now, I never thought about this, and obviously you had the prophetic dream about meeting Nicole, and I'm really interested in that dream in particular. Is this what started you to study this, and then how did you get to the point where you're at now?
Yeah, great question, Charlotte. Hey, it's Dr. Nick, everybody. I wanted to go there. I'm so glad you asked. And I also wanted to piggyback on Michael's comment with the church. So here's the thing. We would go speak at a Catholic church. They'd have us in, but half the congregation was often a little leery, you could say. And anytime talking to a comment was often, dreams are of the devil.
Right.
So we did our research and we found out the origin of dreams are of the devil. And yes, as Michael said, it goes back, several thousand years, but it was Saint Jerome who put the spin on dreams in order. It was ordered by the church, put the spin on dreams in written form, that they're negative and not to be paid attention to, because the church wanted to remain in control. And as Michael mentioned, our whole methodology is entitled Trust Yourself, which is trusting the universe within, your higher self, God within, your spiritual guide within. Everyone has, a different path and religions they follow, etc. But as I like to say, even the atheist dreams every night, and regardless of someone's path or faith or lack thereof, as I was saying, everyone dreams every night, even if they don't remember.
Right.
We've all all witnessed a coincidence or a sign and wondered about it, and we've all had a gut feeling. And so it kind of supersedes any theology that way. It's kind of, those are the three universal tools for guidance. And so backing up, okay, Michael had his dream, but as he told you, when we met, he did not remember the dream. It was 2 years later through deja vu that he was like having flashes. And then he pulled his dream journal, which we still have, and now we've been together for 28 years. He pulled that journal out back then, but we still have it, like I said. And
right.
There it was, Nicole, even wearing a purple outfit. And I remember choosing the purple outfit to garner attention
right.
and whatnot. So Michael had the dream, but here's the thing. He didn't remember the dream. So it goes back to dream signs and intuition. When I met Michael the first day of class, we're all, I was a student. He's twice my age. It's back when I was like 24. And the minute he walked in, the bells went off. And my gut feeling and the hunch and everything screaming inside of me that he's my soulmate. We're going to get married. He's the one. We've got a mission. And it was like, what? But I was totally down with it.
Right.
Okay? But still, and I told them when I ran home, I did tell my roommate, I ran home and said, Heather, I married this guy in a heartbeat. She thought I was crazy. And I said, oh, well, whatever, I can't, explain it. I just know this. And then the semester came and went, and then I saw him in the hallway the next semester rather.
Wow.
And I asked him to lunch. We had lunch, the very next day. And then 90 days we were engaged and 9 months married. Okay, wow. So that's how quick it went. So it was based on my intuition and my knowingness, and then asking him out. Now let me just back up again. When we first went out to eat, and he walked me back to my car, my license plate had the letters KRW. KRW and then some numbers.
Sure.
KRW are the actual initials of his ex-wife. Okay?
Wow.
So he didn't tell me this at the time, but he's walking me back to the car. And I didn't tell him about my knowingness. I had to play it cool. So we walked back to the car and KRW, and he knew that was a sign with a message for himself, letting him know it was going to be a significant relationship. Okay? So I had the sign, the intuition, but I said nothing. Then he had a sign, and he said nothing. But so we went forward with like, okay, it just felt right. So then, like I said, we were engaged and then married. Then a couple years in, when I became a fitness trainer, is when he started having deja vu, because in the dream I was a fitness trainer. When we initially hooked up, I was not. So it was based on the intuition and the sign and the dream. And that's why he said our story is the story. It's like the whole thing put together is how we manifested Trust Yourself. And the compulsion from within, knowing this is a mission and it's a message, and people need to know these things. People need this message. People need the message of trust yourself, and that using dream signs and intuition, you can confirm anything you want to know. You can ask a question before you go to sleep. You can track a dream. You can set up a sign if you want to know if you should get the vaccine, if you should move to Texas. Is your deceased sister in heaven or hell, and is she okay? Do I possibly have, I've got this pain over here. Should I go have an x-ray? Anything a person is wondering, is that person the one for me? Is their profile legit online? Et cetera, We can get our information from dream signs and intuition, and it's foolproof, and it's 100% knowingness. Now, you don't bet the farm on a dream. However, you can confirm your data, you can track your data, and this is exactly the methodology we teach through our Modern Day Mystery School, which is entitled Divine Guidance Institute and Wellness Center. Yeah, like I said, even the atheist dreams. So the tools are universal and they're innate, and it's a matter of knowing it and then practicing, harnessing your power and utilizing it so it becomes a predominant thing in everyone's life,
Let me ask you this. Why are there dreams that we remember, we don't remember,
Now, absolutely. My favorite thing is that, a nightmare is a nightmare, so it catches your attention. So it's one of the dreams we remember because it was so vivid, so perhaps so graphic, so unsettling. And that's because it's a strong message coming through, and your higher self definitely wants the little self to remember it.
Mhm.
You know, so that's part one. The other part is the clarity. Michael wants to chime in on this. Michael, you want to elaborate?
And as soon as we get the message from the nightmare, like we figure the nightmare out, the nightmare goes away. It stops. That's a sure way to stop nightmares. Take a look at it closely and try to figure out the question is, what's going on in my life right now?
Right.
And the nightmare will be connected to it. It's trying to give you direction. And since I don't pay attention to it or I forget, I'll have the nightmare recurring over and over and over again.
Mhm.
So it's really a positive message, even though it comes in a negative form.
Right.
Because in many cases, when we go through a fearful period, we remember it very vividly, and we learn from our negativity. Some of the most negative experiences end up being some of the best teaching experiences for us. So, yeah.
So when we don't remember our dreams, is that a way for our brain to say, look, I'm giving you the stuff that you can write down and take a look at. This other dream doesn't really matter. It's just filler, maybe.
Oh, no. There are no fillers. Oh, no.
Okay.
They all have a message, and it's just about getting proficient at interpretation or decoding,
Mhm.
we like to say. Again, the prominent ones, the ones we remember, that's because they tend to be more graphic or there's something in there. But, we all dream all night long. The most I've tracked in one night was 15 dreams, and that was a good night. Did I remember anything this morning? No. That's why I asked you the question. I was curious. You didn't, neither did I. And that's okay. Number one, there's an ebb and flow between remembering and not remembering.
Mhm.
Just like, up, down, hot, cold, heaven, hell, love, hate, we're in the plane of duality here. So you're going to have, times where you remember and then times where you don't. And we have techniques we're going to share with your listeners today to help remember dreams and, to decode, et cetera, So definitely, they'll leave the show today with some rockin' tools. So tonight they can remember a dream, or in the morning rather, and they can decode it and use it for their benefit.
So, and when we sleep, every night, when we sleep, we dream. I mean, everybody dreams, whether they believe in them or not. When we sleep, we dream, and when we dream, we leave the body in energy form, higher self form, soul form, call it whatever you wish. But where we travel to also, it's a travel log. That's what a dream is. So when we remember a dream, we're remembering where we were out of the body. We could have been on the astral plane, or maybe we're on the mental plane or the etheric plane. There's other, we call them planes, but most, scientists call them dimensions, which is fine. There's other dimensions, the astral dimension, the causal dimension, the etheric dimension. And there's actually there is, in terms of the way we look at it, an infinity of dimensions or realities. And we go there when we dream. We're not limited to a body like we are here, like looking at the traffic out there in the buildings, and that's as far as I go in this town that I'm living in. No, we can go anywhere, pretty much. And the dreams we remember tend to be the dreams that are really connected to our daily life. We tend to remember those. But sometimes we go far places that do not translate easily here. That's why we don't remember those dreams. But like Nick said, we get better at it as we journal the dreams. What we can remember, even if it's just a thread, just a word, just a
Right.
And it, blocks the recall, and it shuffles the symbols. That's why you have to decode a dream. Otherwise, it would just be pure truth coming through, and it's often too much to handle. So that's why, here's a good example. I had a client, and she loves her beer. Loves her beer. Anyway, she has a dream. The neighbor is drunk. The neighbor's running around the neighborhood. The neighbor's dad is mad. The police come. Oh my God. All this about the neighbor. Anyhow, during our session, and then we do the dream, and the message, it was her. The whole dream was about her and her alcohol issues and behaviors and how detrimental they are, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So the dream sensor, being a good friend, it removed, once removed, it's the neighbor. No, it was her. But so often, and anyway, that's what the dream sensor does. It softens the blow, makes us think it's our neighbor instead of ourselves type of thing. But once you start working with your dreams, you get, comfortable and, oh no, that's about me, not the neighbor type thing. A lot of truth comes in, and so you got to be ready to handle that truth, essentially.
Okay, so as we talk about, categorizing these dreams and going through them, sometimes there's not straight directions in these dreams to go with. So how do you interpret all that?
We've got a great two-step technique. Number one, it's based on word association. What a symbol means to you.
Mm-hmm.
The second piece is simply what's going on in your life now. What was on my mind yesterday? What am I trying to figure out today? What was I thinking about? So it's really the two-step. The symbols you use, word association, what it means to you, and then what's going on in my life now, and that'll clue you into the message for the dreamer. Michael, did you want to add?
It's simply also the simple in that two-step technique is write the list down in a journal. So there's water, and there happens to be an airplane, and you write all these symbols down, and at the end, you kind of take a look at them, and right next to them, really quickly, without mentalizing it too much, you just say, well, what does water mean to me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe it means, I love it because it means cleansing, and other people, someone else would say, well, I almost drowned a month ago, so water means death to me. So it's going to be very different for each and every dreamer, but I just simply write the symbols down and then look at them, and then at the end ask the question, what is going on now in my life? And usually you will intuitively pick up on the theme of the dream, what it means and what it's trying to tell you. And if not, give it a few hours, shut your journal, and later in the day or the next day, it'll come in what the meaning of that dream is. And pretty soon you get pretty quick at it. After a while, you're able to interpret dreams almost immediately as they're occurring.
So let me give you two examples, okay? As fitness trainer is one of my, credentials as we were just talking about. So anyhow, there's like 20, there's thousands of diet options out there, Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers and Atkins and blah, blah, blah. What diet?
Right.
Okay. Really, to answer that question, it's any diet that you're able to stick to is the one you should do, because some are easier. One is easier for this person versus that. So that's really which one you do, the one you can stick to. But anyway, that's not what I was going to say. But I was going to say, so I had this dream, okay, and all it is, I'm in a restaurant sitting at the table, and there's a pair of flip-flop sandals on the tabletop, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the whole dream. Boom. I wake up. I'm like, well, aha. Now I'm going to interpret or decode So there's your whole message on that dream. Now I'm going to give you two others because it's important. It'll give a flavor for your listeners.
Sure.
Okay. Here's the one. Oh, this is before Michael, but this one was so prominent. This was one of my. It was actually the very first dream that let me know, oh my God, this is how beneficial dreams are. Okay, I was dating someone, and it was cool, and it was, hot and heavy for like 6 months. This is before internet. This is before cell phones, okay? This is in the late 90s. Anyway, so we're dating, not the late 90s, the early 90s. Anyway, we're dating, and it's New Year's Eve. It's during the day, and it's like, okay, cool, I'll pick you up later at the house, and we'll go out. Okay, great, yeah, all right. See you later. Okay. And so that New Year's Eve comes and goes. All right. The guy, my boyfriend, Franklin, never shows. He never showed, never called. To this day, I've never spoken to this person again in my life. Okay? He just, totally flakes. This is ghosts, whatever word you want to use. So ghosting was going on back then, too, let me tell you. So anyway, I was really, really messed up, distraught. Oh my gosh, what's going on? Is he dead? Is he alive? What happened? No, you know what, Nicole? He just didn't want to see you anymore, okay? That's really what's going on here. But anyway, you wonder, because our whole thing is how to know. How to know. You can know anything that you're wondering about by using these tools. So, and I don't know anything about dreams at this point. But anyway, on day 4 of me crying and being a basket case and I'm upset, and I was even living with Heather at this time. The same roommate when I ran home and told her about Michael. We lived together for a few years, and this is right before Michael, this relationship. Anyway, so day 4, I have a dream, and I remember the dream, and here's the dream. Frankel is in the dream. He has 2 kids, and in real life, in the physical life, he had 2 kids, and he was done with the wife. They were divorcing. Anyway, in the dream, I'm in the dream, he's in the dream, his 2 kids. His 2 kids were hand in hand with him, and they were walking in the opposite direction. Okay? That's the whole dream. I'm there, he's near the kids, and whoop, they're walking the other way. I wake up, I knew instantly. He got back with his family and was headed in another direction.
Makes sense.
There's your interpretation of that dream. And then, so, it was so simple and so just beautiful. The beautiful simplicity of the message and the truth. And I was able to, breathe, relax. I knew what happened because I was shown. I had no doubts. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's like it freed me up. It freed me up so much. And it was so powerful that that's how I knew, and then I met Michael and boom, 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 the whole thing, unfolded like we already mentioned. But it was that message of, because of the yearning, I was like, oh my God, what? And oh, and then given and shown and given the gift and shown the answer. Like, here, Nicole, this is all, the universe or God, the higher self, we don't want you upset like this. You need to get on with life. And bingo, then I was shown. Okay, so that's the second example I wanted to share. And I think I was going to share one more, but maybe I'll hold off and I'll turn it back over to you guys.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, I was going to say, a good way to remember, because most of the people we run into, the major problem, which you already mentioned, is that they don't remember their dreams. And they have a hard time remembering their dreams. One guy was on a show. He called in. He was a caller from another state, and he said he had not remembered a dream in 40 years. 40 years. I wanted to call BS initially and go, come on now, you remembered something. He swore, though, never remembered a dream. And then on the show, we gave him and shared a vibrational toning technique, which is really excellent. I can pretty much guarantee if you don't remember your dreams and you want to remember your dreams, you can use this toning technique just before you go to sleep. in maybe 2 or 3 minutes at most. You do it just before you go to sleep. And what it does is change the channel on our inner vibrations so that we're open to remembering the dreams. So, it changes the channel from Netflix to Paramount. And suddenly the dreams are coming in on Paramount. And what it is, it goes like this. I'll give you a demo. Take a deep breath, and on the out breath, it's H-U, like the name Hugh, like Hugh Jackman. And we tone it like that. You can do it at your own pitch, whatever that is correct. And you can do it inwardly, like silently, if you don't want to do it out loud, or you can do it like I mentioned. And if you do that for a few minutes, I'm talking 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 6, 7 years before you go to sleep, day 1, day 2, you'll start remembering your dreams. That guy who never remembered any dreams for 40 years sent us an email the next day saying for the first time in his life he remembered 3 dreams, and he hewed. That's all he did was hew. You can use that toning technique for tuning into your dreams. If you hew just before you go to sleep, and if you have trouble sleeping even, you can use the hew for insomnia. And you may hew for 5 minutes, and it'll be the last thing you remember, because the hew will put you right to sleep.
That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Now, as far as these dreams go that you have, that we have, rather, what about different times of year? I mean, like we're talking about the autumn equinox, and we're looking at, the solstice and things like that. So can those affect our dreams?
Nick, you want to take the solstice part?
Yeah, oh yeah, one of my favorites, you bet. So glad you brought this up. Okay, every solstice and every equinox, in other words, when the seasons change quarterly, signs proliferate for each soul on the planet. Let's just stick with humans and signs right now, okay? So, we just had the autumn equinox let's see, on the 22nd, on September 22nd at 2:49 a.m. Eastern Time. So, the signs, because we all have dream signs and intuitions daily, whether we remember or not, or recognize them or not. Okay, so what happens is right around the time of the solstices and the equinoxes, the signs proliferate. In other words, right before the equinox and right after, like the 2 weeks, like 10 days before and 10 weeks after, the signs increase, and it actually shows you a snapshot of your next quarter. And I'll give you an example. There's a friend of ours, and this is when we lived in Phoenix, and this too is, I don't know, maybe 18 years ago or something. Anyway, and she called one morning, she's like, Nicole, my palm tree is laying across my front lawn. She's like, what? What the heck does this mean? And people that know us and people close to us, we all have a thing like, what's the message? When something happens, it's what's the message? What's the message? So she's wondering what the message was. Well, here we go. Palm tree, uproots laying across the lawn. Right. Your life's about to be uprooted in some manner, and it's giving you a heads up. It does not mean something negative. No. But here's what happened. The rest of the story, as Paul Harvey always said, the rest of the story is simply approximately 1 month later, her husband got a promotion, and they ended up moving across the country. Yes, boom, 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 just like that. So when you interpret these, messages from dream signs or intuition, they also reveal prophecy, the future, etc. And so that was how you decode that. But here's the thing, and a client asked this today earlier. I was on the phone, with a client. Anyway, and something happened, and he was like, so how do you know, like, that maybe is a sign type of thing? If something happens that's a coincidence, okay, right off rip, it means there's a message, okay? So any coincidence that someone experiences, there's a message, okay? And all that means is two similar events, occurring simultaneously type of thing. Okay. The other thing is, if something occurs that is so effing bizarre, and it caught your attention because it's so bizarre, there's the palm trees laying, da 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 da.
Right.
Message. So it's not like, oh my God, my shoe's untied. What is that? No, that's just your shoe's untied. So those are the two things you can use as a guideline to know if there's an actual message. Coincidence, or it's so bizarre, that it caught your attention.
And a way to look at signs is we call them waking dreams. In other words, okay, we're allegedly awake, so we can't go into a REM state and dream. And what do we do? What do we get while we're awake? We don't have dreams to depend on. Well, we do. They're called waking dreams, or signs, like the examples Nicole just gave you. Suddenly we get a sign, or like seeing her license plate with my ex-wife's initials. That's a sign.
Right.
And if we begin to notice the signs daily, that some people call them coincidence or synchronicity, sign, kismet, there's probably 20 words for it. But the reason that they exist is that quantum physics will tell you, and this part's been proven, it's not, a lot of quantum is still speculation because they don't have some of the technology to prove it, but everything is connected. They have proved that. A guy named John Bell proved it, quantum physicist, maybe 50 years ago. He proved quantum entanglement. Everything is connected. Everything. So when you hear the sentence like you see on the cops asking, I wonder if these events are connected. I mean, the question speaks volumes of ignorance because it's already been proven. Of course they're connected. The fact that you don't see the connections doesn't mean that they aren't connected. They are connected. That's 100% quantum. And as we begin to recognize, I've noticed in my life, recognize the different signs occurring in my daily life, the more they begin to light up, the more I begin to see them, the more I become aware of the coincidences. And they all, like a dream, they all have a message for me. And I think probably most of your listeners have heard of 6 degrees of separation. It's kind of a theory out there now, like, things are 6 degrees of separation. If you go 6 different people, you'll run into your answer. In other words, the first and 6th person will know each other, or have a friend of a friend that knows each other. And that's kind of a social experiment or sociology that they ran many, many years ago. And it is valid. And if we look around for the connections, we will see them. And that's how we can use signs on a daily basis, just like dreams. And they're a very, very useful tool because they're giving us messages.
Now, what about online dating? Because people are really into that. So how can you tie all this into online dating?
Hey, Nick, how about online dating? Can you use signs for online dating?
Yeah, it's a great way to confirm because, oh my gosh, who isn't lying about their stuff? Like puffing themselves up. Like, it's like, holy moly. So how do you know someone's online profile is legit? Or they themselves, even when you're talking, or if you're texting, or if you're going to meet for coffee, or whatever. It's like an uncertain time. We'll say that, nonetheless. So you can use these dream signs and intuition to confirm. You can program a dream, like tonight before bed. You got the hue, the technique Michael shared, the hue, and we'll get more into that in a little bit. But you hue before bed. Hue is simply hue. You can hue out loud or silently, and it aligns your atoms. To tell you what it does, that's exactly what it does. Like you tune up a car, you change the spark plugs, so it runs smoother. By hewing, you actually tune up your central nervous system, which breaks down all the way to just quantum particles, atoms, etc. So, when things are running smooth and you're humming, if you've ever met someone, they got a good vibe, oh my gosh, or they got a bad vibe, woo! You're picking up on their vibe, and literally, you're picking up on their vibration. And whether it's harmonious or not, good, positive, etc. So, you can set up a dream, you hue, do a couple hues, and you ask the question, should I meet John Smith tomorrow at 5 o'clock? Because maybe it's a tentative plan. Maybe John Smith asked somebody out tomorrow. You know, hey, you want to meet me? Let's meet tomorrow. So programming the dream should be very specific. Should I meet John Smith tomorrow at 5? You know, or should I just, in general, should I continue talking to John Smith type of thing? And if John Smith is listening, and, you know, everyone's names, we're going on anonymity here, and all names have been changed, okay? So we'll just make that announcement. But anyway, so, yes, you ask, and then you have a dream, you got to remember the dream, you have to have a true desire. You know, part of this is with sincerity. If you're really desiring or yearning or curious or sincere, you know, you're gonna remember these things a little more easily than just some light curiosity. Nonetheless, the curiosity is very good, and you'll still receive your guidance. But anyway, you got to be real specific, and don't ask more than one question per night. Like, should I take that job, and should I meet John Smith? Like, no, one question per night, or it's going to be confusing on what dream answered what question. Oh, I have to speak from experience on that one. So you can come into full knowing-ish. You can also set up a sign. I want to see a purple turtle by midnight if I'm going to, you know, if I should bother with this person, meeting this person, continuing this relationship, or what have you. And I know that sounds silly, and it sounds like, come on now, but in a minute, you know, I'm gonna elaborate, and Michael's gonna, you know, he loves to talk about his quantum physics, so we're gonna, you know, go there in just a moment about this. But let me just say, soul, which is the essence of what we are, and it's really just energy, okay? Anyway, soul doesn't operate on a timeline. Soul has access to past, present, and future simultaneously. So, soul actually knows ahead of time what you and your physical body are going to run into. Soul knows that you're going to see a billboard later, or a bumper sticker, or a child sticker of a purple turtle. So it's all connected, in other words. It knows ahead of time what you're going to see, and if you don't see the purple turtle, you're also getting your message as well. But you would never set up a sign like, I need to see an apple, and then go to the grocery store. Like, you got to use some common sense type of thing. But everything's based on quantum, as Michael was mentioning. You know ahead of time what you're going to see, so that's kind of how that works. It's not like magic. It's very scientifically based, actually. Michael, did you want to comment?
Yeah, just being present in the moment when you're, for example, when we living in Hollywood for a few years and doing different shows and stuff, and we were going to hook up with an agent, and he's a good agent. He represented a lot of A-listers, and Michael Jackson at the time, blah, blah, blah. So we should have been genuflecting and very grateful. However, when we met with him, the signs, the vibrations showed us that he was not for us. We did not click, and it was very, very clear. And we certainly were paying attention to the signs at the time, and we ended up not going with that agent, mainly because we got the message he's not for us. It's not going to work out. So that's how we made most of our decisions, and it really saved us a lot of grief. And it, like Nick had mentioned, it goes back to quantum physics. Like attracts like. In other words, if we're looking for a certain thing, it should have the vibration that's attracted to me because I'm seeking that thing. And if it's out of alignment, it's not going to feel right. It's not going to feel right. It'll feel off. And then if I notice the signs, well, on the way to the meeting, my car ran out of gas. On the way to the meeting, I had a flat tire. Those are all signs like, hey, whoa, this isn't for you. Most people just blow it off, keep pushing through that door. But then it ends up a big fight. And when we look back, we notice, wow, the signs were really clear. Why didn't I pay attention? And there it is. Everything's like that, actually.
It's fascinating. I apologize for the dog in the background. I have an 18-year-old rat terrier that's got dementia. So he's very vocal today for some reason.
He's like, yeah. It's all true. Yeah.
just to let people on Radio Land know I'm not torturing my animals. That's what he does. Sometimes it's late at night, so it's kind of better during the day. Divorce rates are sky high. Why would you say most relationships fail? And how can you be certain to pick the right mate?
Oh, one of my favorites. Oh, you're just hitting all the good stuff today. For real, Charlotte. So, okie dokie. States of consciousness. Everyone's got a state of consciousness. And it goes back to atoms and vibrations and physics again, but real simply, it's your central nervous system and the atoms and the subatomic particles. And the rate and frequency in which those things vibrate within an individual. Okay, that's what a state of consciousness is based upon. And it's reflected outwardly in everything we like, in our thoughts and our hates and everything else, such as my favorite color is periwinkle, and I have a master's degree, and I have 4 brothers, and I love Jesus, and I believe in reincarnation, and I want to get married, and my favorite place is Hawaii, and my favorite food is pizza, and I live in Chicago, and I want to go to Tahiti, and so all of these things, I love to golf, I love camping, my favorite hotel is the Marriott, all of these things. This is how the state of consciousness is reflected outwardly, okay? So, to answer your question, then I'm going to get into it a little more. When we pick a mate that has a similar SOC, state of consciousness, we are rest assured to have a pretty gosh darn harmonious relationship. Even with friends, does not just love, we're talking friends, etc. So, when we pick someone without a similar SOC, it's not going to be harmonious. And that's typically what people do. They base their choices on something simple, like, oh, does he have a good job? Or, oh, he's cute, and nothing else. And so you date for a minute, and things are cool, and then after about a month, things go south. It's like this, that, and the other. So, states of consciousness, similar, harmonious when they're not. That's why the guys need the man cave, and the girls need a girls' night out. It's the only way we can all tolerate each other over a length of time. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have extracurricular things you do. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the reason why typically we have to have our man cave and girls' night out is, like I said, to tolerate each other over a long period of time. So, if we start basing our choices upon things of a higher nature or more of the truth. Like, here's an example. Again, long before Michael, this is when we lived in Texas, and I met someone at the gym, so you'd think, oh, you guys got that in common, blah, blah, blah. Right, this is exactly the line of thinking. And he asked me out. Okay, great. We were going to go out. And he said, oh, why don't we go camping? And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm secretly thinking, I don't want to pitch a tent. I want to go to the Ritz-Carlton. Right. That's more my vibe. But it was a new relationship. I'm trying to be loving and accommodating. So I'm like, yeah, okay. But I'm thinking like, oh, my God. So anyway, we never made it to that date, okay? That was like going to be in a week. And between that week, we got real honest with each other on the phone. Again, this is before cell phones and everything else, but we got real honest and said, hey, we don't jive, so let's just not even go further. And then it ended before it started. So that's cool that we had the wherewithal to do that. But it's not about the pitching the tent or the Ritz. It's about what those things reflect and what those things stand for. It represents something much greater. And again, it's the state of consciousness. The fact that he loves camping and off rip, that's the first thing he wanted to do, is fine. But it, like I said, it represents something that we're very different people. And ultimately, we might have fun for a minute, but it's not going to be cool, and we're going to run into a few bumps. So when you pick someone based on different criteria, it's going to save you a lot of heartache. We'll just call it what it is.
What about coincidence? I mean, how do you know that, what you dream and then what you encounter out in the real world isn't just a coincidence?
Okay. Well, it actually, if it is, then it can be a confirmation. Let's say you dream of this. Okay, like Michael's coincidence of the letters, attention. And so right then you go, Now he just knew intuitively, and then you go with your intuition. He knew, what is that? Oh, a strong message relationship. It's going to be a serious relationship. That was his takeaway. Strong relationship or serious relationship. Okay. And then, even though he forgot the dream, we found the dream later through the deja vu, and that was a way to confirm it. And then I had my own confirmation with the intuition that, oh my God, I married this guy. Oh, he's my soulmate. Da, 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 da. So, when you compare notes or when you track your data, that's why tracking is so important. We call it dream tracking or tracking your data in general. You literally log your information, your dream or your sign or your intuition, and you give it a date. And then quarterly, you reflect back, and you read your data. You look at the data, and you'll be amazed. This is really where it comes down, and you bring it on home. It's because you're like, you will find out, oh my God, that was answering this question. I was shown this future moment. I was given this warning. Our whole message is don't get blindsided again. Don't get burned and don't get blindsided. And how to know. So, by using these heightened tools, these tools of awareness, heightened awareness, you can avoid getting burned and blindsided and make the right choice out of the gate. And sometimes you're still going to get up and not make the right choice, but here you go. You still will have been forewarned, and it softens the blow. So right there, you don't even trip. You don't even trip. Like I mentioned, there was a show we were supposed to do before your show. I don't mean today before your show, but in general, a few days before. And I had a feeling it was not happening. I had a feeling. I even emailed the guy. I said, at the day of, I emailed him. I said, hey, are we on? Like, is this confirmed? I want to confirm. That's all I said. I want to confirm. And he emailed back, and he said, yes, this is confirmation, the show tonight, yes, yes, yes. And even with his email confirming it, the inner voice said, nope, there's no show tonight. There is no show. And I'm like, really? Okay. And so I wait to see. I didn't confront him. I told Michael at 10 o'clock p.m. came and went, and there was no show. We did not do a show. And sure enough, I was like, yes, the inner. Like, I didn't even care. It was like, that's great. But the inner warned me, and I was aware enough to get the message. And that was what was so cool. It superseded any letdown about the show, because once again, Trust Yourself tools, and we call it the Trust Yourself system because it's an actual system of methodology. It was right on the money once again, and it avoided, we didn't get burned, we weren't blindsided, we were just gently warned, like, hey. And so it's really cool, and it just changes the outlook, it changes results. Sometimes you can change the thing. Oh, and this is important, one thing to mention. If you've ever got a message, and it might seem negative, since we tend to manifest our life through our thoughts and feelings and things, and that's a whole other story or another session, another show topic, but you should always spin things positive. You want to stay in the truth, don't get me wrong, but you want to put a positive spin on it if you can, because we do manifest our entire world. So you always want to try to be upbeat with your things. And another good thing is to bless it. You bless it, you put it into the stream, if you will. Give it to the universe. That way you're not attached, and you kind of, you decrease your karma. That's the bottom line with that thing. Michael, did you want to add anything?
Just that, because you had mentioned something earlier about coincidences, and how do we know it's not an accident? It comes down to how much truth we can really handle. And it's kind of like Nicole had mentioned, which is another whole show. We manifest our life by what we think, and what we see inwardly appears outwardly. And, most people would say, oh, that's cool. That means I can manifest $1 million in wealth. And of course you can. But at the same time, it requires responsibility. In other words, whatever we see in our life, we have brought it here. There's no accidents, not one on the planet in the last 1
Well, here's a question I have for you. I know we kind of talked about this in our pre-interview about Scooby-Doo stuff. So, you always say trust yourself, but a lot of people use outside sources for guidance, such as psychics or the Ouija board. Why should we be careful when dealing with outside sources?
Oh, absolutely. Great. So glad you mentioned this. So, number one, we give away our power. Okay, that's first and foremost. Giving away our power to somebody else. Or another method, like you mentioned, tarot and psychics and Ouija boards, etc., etc. So, giving away power. But that's not even what it's about. It's about when you use an outside source, you are looking to something else to give you guidance. And there's no one knows you as well as you. Okay? So those two things, but that's more psychological than spiritual. Now we're going to go over here to the spiritual aspect. There's entities, okay? An entity is another name for the word ghost. All right? It's a deceased, soul that's hanging out. Doesn't want to go, to the astral plane or causal, where it needs to go to the next rest stop. It's still hanging out.
Right.
And usually bugging on people. And so what happens when you do the Ouija board or the tarot or the psychic, whatever, you literally open yourself up to entities, to ghosts, okay? And this is how and when they latch on. Let me give you an example. I had a client, this is years ago, and she's telling me in the session, like, oh, my little girl, she's 5 and she won't sleep in her bed. All of a sudden, Mom, I see a young girl and she's got messy hair and a dirty dress and she's in my room. And so I said, aha. I said, well, there's an entity in the house, okay. I said, kids the age of 5 and younger, they can see ghosts or entities, and they can see auras. That's why they color outside the lines, okay? And they can see the ghosts or the entities. So you got an entity in the house. Okay, not a big deal. All right. So I said, what have you been doing lately? And she's like, well, nothing. I'm like, I don't know, Ouija, blah, blah. Psychic. Oh, my God, I had a psychic over 2 weeks ago. I said, aha. The psychic came, brought the entity along, and she didn't know it. The psychic didn't know it.
Right.
Okay. But when the psychic left, the entity stayed. So there you go. It opened up the door, the entity stayed, and here we've got the entity. And thank God the little girl picked up on it. And so then we did our 4-step technique, which I can share with you guys if you want, or with your listeners.
Absolutely.
It takes 5 seconds, and you don't need to be home to do it. You don't even need to, it's this powerful. And before I share it, I'll say that NBC actually came in and they interviewed the client and her daughter. They filmed her sleeping in her room that same night after we did this technique. She was sleeping in her room that night. Of course, entity gone. And success. And it was an investigative reporter that came in and did the whole piece. It's on our website and our YouTube site, the interview. Anyway, here we go. To get rid of an entity or a ghost, or for protection, plain old protection, because vibes, blend and mix. All someone would do is they'd hue up their aura. The aura is an electromagnetic field that we all have. It extends about 3 feet from our physical body, and it manifests in colors. There's a camera that can take a photo of the aura and see it. And again, kids see auras. That's why they color outside the lines. Anyhow, so you hue up your aura. Maybe you visualize the HU, throughout the aura. Then you wrap yourself in white light, like a scarf. Then you wrap yourself in reverse mirrors, which I will explain in a minute. And then you say, may the blessings be. And anything that's not of the light must leave. Okay, that's the whole thing. And you can visualize it for yourself, see your protection. You can do it with work at the job. You can do it with the car. You can do it with the house, okay? You can't do it for other people because you're going to violate their spiritual, psychic space, and you're going to take on their karma and all kinds of stuff. So you don't want to do it for other people. Unless you're a parent and your kids are under 18, that's different. Okay, but anyway, all right, so back to reverse mirrors. You are standing there, and there are mirrors around you, but they are facing away from you. The The mirrors are facing outward. In other words, if I'm looking at you, I see a mirror and a reflection of myself. So when energy comes toward a person, if they're wrapped in reverse mirrors, it bounces off the mirror and goes back to the sender. Okay? So again, the 4-step technique, you hue up your aura, or you hue up the house. If we're getting rid of the ghost, you're going to hue up the house, the apartment, whatever. And you're going to wrap the house in white light and reverse mirrors, and you're going to say, anything that's not of the light must leave. Ta-da! And so again, do it for the house, do it for the car, do it for yourself, do it, at the job type of thing to get rid of any negative energy. As a matter of fact, if you rent a hotel room, you should do it before you walk in that hotel room. If you're going to move into a new house or a rental, you want to use that technique before you move in. If you're going to buy a used car, you want to do it with the car. That's why, oh my God, I bought a car and it was fine, but it's a lemon and now it's breaking down. It's because the vibrations of the person that owned that car are still holding on, and it doesn't mesh with the new owner's vibes. That's why all of a sudden, the light bulb went out on the blinker and the muffler, and it's the vibrations and disharmony. So anyway, you can use the technique for lots of good stuff. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And what about UFOs and aliens?
Michael's favorite. Michael, you want to take this one?
UFOs have been around forever, Charlotte. If anyone does their homework, which most people don't do really, or they may touch on it lately, or they see a special by on CNN or something, but if you really go back and research all the way back in 5,000 years with the Egyptians and stuff, they had drawings of UFOs and references to them in all of their stuff. Most societies have. And today, it's a lot more prominent. A lot of the information's being released now, finally. The government's held it for, 50, 60 years. And they kept it on the down low in New Mexico, White Sands, up in Dulce, New Mexico, and UFOs and aliens that have crashed and landed. And I used to research it personally for 3 or 4 years in undergraduate school, and I had big maps up on the walls. And used to go out. I've seen some UFOs fairly close, up close over lakes, flying over lakes, hovering. I get pretty close to it. Mm-hmm. And then, with Nicole and I have run into a few humanoids who look like us, but they're alien, and you can't really tell unless you're able to pick up on their vibrations, and it's real different. It's an alien vibration. We ran into some in Austin, Texas, as a matter of fact. So I know the aliens have been here forever. I know it personally. I can tell people, but I'm only telling them, and they don't know. They go, oh, really? And I could refer them to maybe they read a book, but you still don't know unless you actually do your research and in some way have an experience. And then you go, oh my God. And they have been here forever. A lot of this stuff's starting to be released now. My guess is that we're going to get to maybe meet the aliens publicly pretty soon, like soon. So the government's getting everybody ready for that. And they've known they've been around forever. They've reverse engineered a whole bunch of their stuff. So a lot of the crafts we now see are really our own government crafts that were, UFOs. So there you go.
Hey, you know what? I know we got to hang up here in a minute, but yep. I want to say two things, if I may.
Sure.
Back to Michael and the UFOs. So how do you know? Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. You can ask before you go to sleep. Are UFOs real? Are aliens real? Are they here? One specific question again. Not like 3 questions, but just one that's very specific. And then, of course, you can track your data later. And this is how you come into full knowingness. Like I said, you want to know about heaven and hell. Is reincarnation real? Is Aunt Susie in heaven? And is she okay? Where is my missing daughter? Are my kids doing drugs? Is my spouse cheating? I mean, anything you want to know, you can use these tools and get pure truth. So, I wanted to mention that. And I want to go back to the hue before we hang up. research, and we were curious about this whole thing. Back in the day, long ago, with the Sphinx in Egypt, it used to be called hew, and they would hew at the Sphinx from dusk until dawn as a society to harmonize things. So the hew has a lot of rich history attached to it, and like the origin, okay, and a sacred universal name for God. And so there you go with all the history, the research, etc. But here we go. We've modernized that. We've taken it a step further. We call it one magic word.
Right.
We call it one-step solution, and we call it one-step therapy. That's even the title of one of our books, One-Step Therapy, just say hew. When someone hews, hew, out loud or silently, they can use it for stress, insomnia, anxiety, PTSD, suicidal ideation, depression. I want to quit smoking. I don't want to be so mad. I need help studying. I need help with focus, etc., etc. You can use this hew technique, just like I showed you. Hew, that's simple, for any of the aforementioned. And it changes you from the inside out because it goes right to the central nervous system, right to the atoms and subatomic particles, and harmonizes things. And anything that's negative can't stay. It can't stay when you've got this positive vibration going on. And I'll have clients come, oh my God, I want to bring down my methadone dose. Oh my God, I'm not smoking as much crack. Oh, I'm not smoking as many cigarettes. Oh, I'm not fighting with my boyfriend as much. And it goes on and on, and I'm sleeping better. I don't have insomnia. Now that I hew before bed, here's some actual testimonials. When I wake up, the Xanax is still on the nightstand, and the Diet Coke is still unopened, and the ashtray is still empty. So it's imperative to share this with your listeners. The hew for one-step therapy and anything else they need to use it for, even the dream recall or stopping nightmares. Another way to know and use it for your intuitive enhancements and connecting with God or the universe, or your higher self. Yep.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you doing the interview. I learned so much today.
It's our pleasure.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having us on.
Charlotte, and if you'd like, we'd be glad to send you one of our books, autographed.
Absolutely.
Send me a physical address, and for your listeners, we have got our free newsletter sign up. They just go to the website. Never Get Blindsided Again. They can go to nevergetblindsided again or trustyourselfsystem.com. They can sign up for the free newsletter. We've got all 4 books come in e-version as well as physical hard copy. So yeah, we did that for do-it-yourself version. This way, they don't need to consult with us or have a private session. They can do it themselves with the books. If we died them out, the books are here. Type of thing.
Absolutely.
So, and the Modern Day Mystery School, so they have lots of options to do this stuff with us or without us. Yeah.
And again, well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it, and we'll have to get you on a later date.
Sounds good, Charlotte.
Thank you. It's been fun.
All right.
Have fun.
Have a great one.
Everybody.
Okay, bye. Okay, guys, I want to thank them for coming on again. I really appreciate them coming on. And at the end, I will show their contact information, and they do have 4 books out as well. And if you're interested in their program, check out their website, and I'll give you that address as well. But I learned so much about dreams. It's just mind-boggling, and I'm going to have to go through all this stuff. You start writing down my own dreams, right? Everybody needs to write their dreams down. Maybe it can lead us to bigger and better things. All right, that being said, if you like the show, share it with 5 people. If you hated the show, share it with 5 of your enemies. We're here, equal opportunity here at California Haunts Radio, and we're just trying to get the word out about our show, so I really appreciate it. But in the meantime, I will see you tomorrow. See ya.